Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's Thursday. It's Korner Booth pregame.
Hey, is this thing on? Hello, testing.
No debate, cause they saw. I'm too official, got the drip, I got the sauce. Bring the proof when it's time to tell the truth. I'll be at the Korner Booth, find me in the Korner Booth, yeah. Still standing and defiant. Slay the competition, cause I'm walking like a giant.
What's up, Twitter world? There's my little OJ.
He's got an autographed OJ photo.
Has anybody heard the story about the Glizzy guy?
He fits today's generation.
Oh yeah, speaking of lady basketball players, the Lola Bunny, bonkable. Yes or no?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Korner Booth pregame. I'm your host, Jared Clem. Got a great show today. A couple programming notes. Our UFL preview has been pushed until Monday. Our guest, Zach Keilman, unfortunately had a scheduling issue he could not get out of. So I appreciate his work with me all day of trying to find a day we could get him in before the season starts. Once again, go Battlehawks. That is why I'm wearing the Battlehawk colors bandana tonight. Also, I didn't feel like wearing a hat. That being said, we're going to talk some college basketball. We already had one upset happen today. Shout out to McNeese State and the Oregon himself, their equipment guy, who is one of my favorite humans on this planet. On top of all of that, we have some NFL headlines as well. We got a returning guest who hasn't been on in a bit. He's a fellow Philly fan like myself. I want to get his experience about how he celebrated the Super Bowl win. And, of course, our boy DJ Stewart stopping by. So there is that as well. So without further ado, here's my co-host, Mr. Matt Ordazzo. Matty, I'm not liking your banner so far because I hate UConn. So go jump off a bridge on a concrete. Like, I don't like it.
I had the sudden inspiration to do it as I saw your banner. I was like, I got to give it to him.
Oh, yeah, see, but you guys weren't unanimously hated by 80% of the world like we were. That's the problem. And I will admit this 1,000 times over. I'm only a UNC fan for basketball. It's been that way since I was a little kid. Like, we're talking like age 5. Like, back in the days of, like, pre-Raymond Felton, Marvin Williams, Sean May. That was the first team I got to see win a championship. Besides, the only team, when we're talking, like, age and how old I was, I'm a 95 kid. I'm 30. So, I've only witnessed one. By the time North Carolina won in 2005, that was the first championship I've ever seen somebody win besides the Diamondbacks when I was 6 years old, and I barely remember that. So, that was the first championship I got to experience. I remember it was yesterday. It was the first time my parents ever let me stay up to watch a college game like that. I could not believe it. But then I got blessed enough to see the Tyler Hansborough team get one, and then, of course, the Justin Jackson and Joel Berry one. The Armando Bacot team got robbed in 2021. They almost won if Caleb Love wasn't a terrible shot. Yes, Subi, I'm taking shots at your boy. Also, other programming note, I'm still filling in for Subi this week and next week because he is on hiatus. That one was a little less short notice. At least, I'll bust Subi's chops about that later, but, it's all good. Still love him to death, but I will be leading all of our college basketball talk today. All I want to say is after Tuesday night, what was that about UNC not being in the tournament? I mean, listen, it's okay. You guys can complain about Ohio State and Indiana. And, yeah, you got a new head coach. I'm like, how y'all complain about not getting in the tournament when you didn't have anybody to coach y'all? Ohio State, your team is terrible. Everyone's complaining about UNC's lack of quad 1 wins. Dude, we played one of the hardest schedules in terms of out our conference. We just lost. But we played these teams. We went out and said, hey, we're going to go play Auburn. We're going to play UCLA. I think we beat UCLA. We're going to go play, I believe, Texas and Alabama. It's like, listen, we lost. We lost. I think they lost to UConn as well. They went out and played the games. A lot of these guys, quad 1s are like, counts as a quad 1 win? I think, bottom feeder SEC teams do, and some, teams in the mid-tier ACC. But all I know is 2 ACC teams have already lost today in Clemson and Louisville. So I'm just going to sit here doing the running man because all that's left is Duke and North Carolina. So, yeah, that's how it is.
I don't know. Let's do the math. So they won in your first one that you said you witnessed was 20 years ago, 2005. You were 10. 10 and 20 is 30. You just turned 30, so maybe this means that this is your 30 year is also the year we're going to get a UNC March Madness win.
They won when I was 22. They won when I was 14, and they won when I was 10. So there you go. But yeah, so there you go. I don't know, some weird numbers there, but hey, listen, we got a great guest on. He's a fellow Philly fan, Pennsylvania native. He's been the busiest man alive covering like high school basketball. I'm so proud of this kid. He's been kicking butt. He's also a sports fanatic, so he like when he starts talking, my brain's got to catch up with where he's going. Ladies and gentlemen, host of the Satellite Summit podcast, my man Antonio Perez. What's up, buddy?
How's it going, guys?
Go Birds, baby. Go Birds.
Go Birds, man. Go Birds.
Did you make the parade? Did you
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I went.
Where'd you end up setting up shop?
Near the steps.
Oh, you actually went?
Yeah. I was near the steps. Yeah, I mean, it was great. It was a great time. I truly don't even know because I didn't get to go for the first time. So going for that one, it's just like it hasn't even kicked in yet. But when I start seeing the buses and stuff pull up, I see Jalen Hurts and Brandon Graham on that first, that first bus rolling in. I'm like, wow, it's like it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. I'm on Twitter looking at all the clips like from, on the way there, Nolan Smith had to be brought over in a cop car and how he got hit in the head. It was a blast. So
it's so funny how he got hit. I think right a block before where me and Chris were posted up because we were over by whatever that Jewish community center is right there on the corner by the old the really old buildings. We were really up there because his uncles were like, we'll see him pass and we'll dip out, we'll go have some food and some beers at the corner. I'm like, all right, bet, let's do that. I left my house at 4:45 that morning to get there to make sure I was there on time. So it was definitely a fun time. I did Philly and back in one day. Getting back was a nightmare. Getting there was honestly a pretty enjoyable drive. So, but yeah, it was a cool experience. I'm happy you went. I wasn't sure because I remember you saying your work schedule was crazy. So I was like, I don't even know if Ant's making it today.
Yeah, no. We were in the thick of the PIAA state playoffs. District and state playoffs. So even on my own show, we had to do a couple weeks where we just went one show a week instead of two, like we usually like to. So I can only imagine what it's going to be like for baseball, but definitely doing our best because I do enjoy talking all sorts of stuff with you guys and on my own show. So glad I could find time this time around.
Well, I appreciate you stepping in because we had I had both of my guests. Oh, if you count Subi, 3 of my guests all cancel on me in the last 12 hours. So it was a real
Subi would have been a blast. He loves college basketball.
Well, he does our weekly Subi. Subi has his own segment on our show now. He does his own hit piece like Shefty does on McAfee or whatever. He'll come on and call #Subi knows. Shout out to Chris for that name. And he just talks basketball with us. And it's great because usually we're a bunch of big dumb dummies when it comes to college basketball. We're learning as fast as we can. I mean, Matt grew up with college basketball royalty because, we were born into Connecticut. I hate UConn living in Connecticut. So that's just how I roll. And then, Nate, I don't even know who the hell you root for in college basketball. Oh, yeah, by the way, our producer Nate's here, by the way, guys.
Hello.
Oh, Nate. You're a freaking banner.
Nate's I heard the young Sheldon haircut and then the mildly offensive name on his
Young Sheldon haircut. That's great.
Oh, I didn't even try. No, I just gelled my hair. I'm crazy, bro. It's crazy how I look different with the hat on. I look raggedy, and I just do my hair one day, and it looks like I do a haircut. So
no, it looks great, brother. I'm just saying you came out looking like young Sheldon for a minute. I was like, oh damn.
I ain't as smart as him, but oh my god.
Oh, you got the same part. It's just going the opposite way.
I should change my name to the Asian Young Sheldon.
Show hijacker. What?
Oh, it's
damn.
Boo.
Boo. Will you relax? Damn. My sister's cat has absolutely no chill. Yes, hello. Hello, lady. Say hello to the camera. She's shy. Oh yeah, she said hello. Now get down.
But happy to see you guys. Happy Thursday with y'all. Antonio, good to see you. Good stuff as always with your podcast and the articles you guys are releasing. So, yeah, good to see y'all.
All right,
Hey,
buddy.
what's your basketball team for
Appreciate it.
college? I forgot if you just mentioned it.
I don't got one.
taking-
I was gonna say
was
Cal, but
taking-
we didn't make it that far.
I mean,
I
you
was
guys had
taken back
Jason
by,
Kidd at one point, so I mean, like, there's something there.
I think for this tournament, I'll go for St. John's since I have them in the bracket.
Bro, Rick Pitino on McAfee like made me like want them to win. In order of who I want to win this, obviously Florida because I have money on them, but then it's it's obviously North Carolina. Let's be honest, it's North Carolina because obviously they're my team, and I have a lot of, and if they win, I win a lot of money because 50% profit boost on their future. I took it, like I ran with that.
How much would you like to?
$5 pays out $1,700. I ran with that to the bank. I was like, yes, sir, because I put that in before they beat San Jose State or San Diego State. Because after a drop, I cut in half. Because everyone's like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have been talking this much about North Carolina. Because everyone remembers like, oh yeah, RJ Davis is one of the best guards in the country, and they have a really athletic team who can score fast when they actually want to shoot correctly. Oh, I noticed also against that elite San Diego State defense, or quote unquote elite, they stopped playing selfish basketball, which every time I've watched them over the past month, when they get into a close game, they have these like spurts where they just attack. There's passing, constant ball movement, and everything looks crisp and clean. And then like it happened twice against Duke and once against Georgia Tech or Wake Forest, where I'm just like, what are you guys doing? Like, where did it turn in? It looks like James Harden on the Rockets ISO ball. I'm like, none of you guys have a crossover like Harden. Stop it. Like, keep moving the ball around. But yeah, honestly, I'm very excited for North Carolina. And then obviously it's McNeese State because, dude, like the swag is out of control. And they just won me like $15 just now off of the bet because I said, F Clemson, I'm betting against them. And then last but not least, obviously, St. John's, because Rick Pitino is just a straight-up gangster, and I love everything he is about him and St. John's.
If any of you non-Connecticut people want to make some money, I'm just saying Yale's going to beat the Aggies. I can't bet on it because I'm in Connecticut, but last year I think I said – did I say Yale or was it Harvard last year? I said
it was Yale over Auburn, and Kelcey almost cried.
Oh, well, that's what he gets for giving us such bad upsets in college.
Oh, yeah, football. Dude. Okay, so Antonio, I don't remember you were on the show for any of these, but there was a streak over the last 2 years. It went from last season of football into this season where Kelcey had screwed one of our parlays back to back weeks. Like he was on a roll of just giving us a bad upset pick, and we take his advice and we flip and take that pick, and it would kill our parlay. And we'd just be like, they'd be like, you shouldn't take my advice. But then he'd go on like a 15-minute rant of how, he's right. So, it was a funny running gag. The worst was, I think Chris lost a 10-legger.
Tulane.
No, that was the original. But like he lost like a 10-legger right before the playoffs. And it was the most hilarious thing. Because Chris is like, oh, I'm going to get Kelcey. And Chris is like a $110 soaking wet and 5'9".
Yeah.
Like, he's a string bean, so it's great though. But obviously, I know you're Penn State, obviously, but who college ball still Penn State, or do you have another team you root for because their basketball program, except for last year, has not been great?
Yeah, so it's my like for sure college basketball team is Temple without a doubt, and it's really a shame because they were honestly in a position for an at-large bid before Jamal Mashburn Jr. got hurt. That kid is truly like exceptional. Once he got hurt, offense. Yeah, his son can play. I don't know if he's Pop's level, but he can definitely score the ball with, I would argue, anybody in the country. But once he went down, the offense kind of got a little stagnant. We had guys like Zion Stanford who could pop out every couple games, but to be the number one option was a little tough. I always like rooting for Texas A&M a little bit. I was a big fan of Robert Williams back when he was with Texas A&M. I remember they beat North Carolina. Robert Williams, I think, had like 7 or 8 blocks.
Was that last year?
Oh no, this was a while ago. This I think 20. It was either 2018, 2019.
It was 18. It was 18. It was the year after the championship. I remember because it was like the first round, and I was like, all right, well, college basketball is dead to me. I'm like, oh, Those weenies from freaking Philly won again. I'm still bitter about the Chris Jenkins shot.
Well, okay. Well, we'll get one thing clear. Villanova is not a Philly school. They are.
It's outside of Philly.
Yes,
I know
they're still in the Big Five or City Six, but I digress. Yeah. So I mean, Aggies are like the team I'm kind of pulling for, but I kind of just I really like players, to be entirely honest, and I hate to break it. I do like the kid from Maine that plays at the other blue school in Carolina.
Dude, he's
the coldest. He's the coldest player in the country.
Dude, he's really good. He's so talented. But dude, the way he's acting he looks like every TikTok kid when he's on the bench. I'm like, dude, I want to dude, shut up.
And here's the best part about it is he does all of the the TikTok theatrics and whatever, and he's loud and whatnot. But you can't even call the kid soft. Because he's also like one of the 5 best defenders in the country.
Dude, he's from northern Maine. He's from central Maine. I don't know if you've ever been up that way.
He's the main event.
Dude, he is legit. Yo, shout out to Alan Streetball. He legit is everything that northern New England is. He's a tough dude. It just he had to go to the one school that makes him hateable. If he went to any other school, dude.
I don't think any other school had a shot from where he's from.
This is why, this is another reason why I will always hate Duke in either sport. Like watching Duke lose literally gives me almost more joy than watching North Carolina win. I honestly, because I grew up around Duke fans, and they're the worst because they just there's a blind. Dude, I have like a legit like spasm in my upper hamstring, and it's literally been killing me for like the last 3 hours. I tried to walk it off on the treadmill, and I'm just like dying. Trying to pivot weird.
Do you know from TikTok, the Rizzler?
Yeah.
He has Yale in his Final Four.
Oh, who cares? I don't know about that.
He has Norfolk State in a Sweet 16.
The branding is great, dude, but like I don't care. Like can AJ,
I know he's also like 8, so
yeah, it's like, dude, like let the kid have a normal. So he's made some money. Let the kid have a normal childhood now. Like seriously, but like. Hey, listen, I'm sorry your father or your mother died. 5 booms. Like at that point, I'm like, come on, man.
Dad. Like, I'm so sorry. It was like your brother. Yeah, it was bad. No,
those people pay for those those messages, so it's kind of like you got to do it.
It's like a cameo thing. Yo, they probably got off camera. Like, what the hell was that?
No, I think they were on live too. I think it was a live stream. It was like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear about your brother's passing. He gets 5 booms, and they just did a whole 5 boom salute to him.
Yeah, they'll get like gifts and whatnot, which are money, they're donations, and you can't really say no. But they were good sports about it at least, and we gotta laugh.
I just at that point I'm like, dude, just like guys, you guys gotta stop with that shit. Like at that point, you're just like that's got to be like you're jumping the shark moment. At that point, you're like, damn, man, like we just had to give somebody booms for their passing of their brother. That's awful.
I'm sorry your wife cheated on you. Let's give you 6 booms. Boom!
One for every time she cheated on you.
Some what's it called? March Madness news. Cooper Flag is going to be active for tomorrow's game.
Oh my God.
I actually wanted to bring that one up because I saw that a couple of hours ago, and I just wanted to get everyone's opinion. Because me personally, I'm like, I would have probably thrown he has his uniform on, but chances are you're probably not taking off your warm-ups though. Like, we will only send you out there against, Mount St. Mary's Mountaineers we absolutely have to. But they rolled, they went through 2 rounds of the ACC tournament. The ACC tournament without Cooper Flag. I'm sure they could handle this without him. But I just wanted to see if everybody was like kind of on the same page there, or like, it's best that he plays.
I mean, like, I think if you got some easy, like this is a guaranteed win matchups ahead, maybe rest him until you get to that one where it could be a little more 50-50, 60-40, especially since he did have that ankle sprain. I mean, you're a basketball player, you're putting all your weight on your ankle 24/7. So I was just reading up on his latest thing, and he said he's been pain-free on it. So, I mean, I'm sure the kid's going to, you only get this chance once probably. So I'm sure he's going for it. But I agree. If their first matchup or two is like, they're favorited by 12.5, 15.5 or more. Then it's easy W. I'd sit them, but if you need him for the must-win games, man, obviously I want him fresh and ready to go. I don't want him to re-injure that sprained ankle or re-sprain it and out for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah.
So would you make him inactive for tomorrow?
I wouldn't make him inactive, but like he would be active, but considering who they're playing, he's not getting out of his jumpsuit. Like he'll just be at the end of the bench and he will be like a secret military
Emergent
weapon.
Break glass
for
unless
the
you're
Blue
Amari
Devils.
Stoudemire. What the joke I made? Like break glass unless your name's Amari Stoudemire. Like just like if they're looking like it's like what is it, Mercer College all over again, then yeah, like get him in the game, let him drop a couple threes, play some good defense, and then we'll get out of here with the win. But like
even that would feel highly disappointing if I were Duke, though. If you had to capture the flag to beat this team,
I like that.
I've liked a couple tank names for Cooper Flag. One's a little childish, and the other is the real one. You know, there's capture the flag, and then there's poop for Coop. Just stink for Cooper Flag, but I like capture the flag. That's generational.
Who is the NBA player who said like don't even bother, like just go back for your sophomore year because there's no point, like you're gonna play for a crap team?
I mean, the next year he's gonna play for the crap team.
The
he can stay in college all 4 years, and he's gonna have a decent shot to go to the Hornets every single time.
You know what the craziest thing is that like with the way they do the draft lottery and they do it so close to the draft, there's no way for players to know if they can go back. Once they declare, that's it. They can't undeclare.
Well, they can stay and they can declare while keeping college eligibility. I remember Mac McClung did it a couple times, actually. He actually went back to college one time.
Okay.
But that's a player of like Cooper Flag.
I mean, like
if he's in, he's in. Like he's.
Well, I was gonna say, like, if like let's say like one of these teams who's like just had a bad season, and then they're kind of hanging around like the 13th, 12th spot, and they get the one pick. If I'm Flag, I'm like, all right, bet, like let's go. But if it's like, if you get the Wizards, dude, I'm undeclaring going back to college. I was like, hey, Coach Shire, can I play next year?
Yeah, and Cooper Flag, I think so. I'm not ready to. I think Cooper Flag is the number one prospect in this draft, but I don't think it's some far away foregone conclusion. Ace Bailey will never catch him. Harper will never catch him. Edgecombe has no. Like I don't want to look at it. Like, I see four.
Yeah,
I see 4 very, very good prospects. The only difference is Flag has the highest floor. I don't think that's close. I think if you drop him on like the Pelicans they're a good team. They got pieces. The injury bug has done them very bad. Kind of like the Grizzlies
exactly my
year.
point. Exactly.
So you drop Cooper Flag on that Pelicans team, he could contribute right away. He could be the best player on the team. Now I don't because Zion's going to be an issue, but when he's out there, when Zion is out there, he is a problem. It's just a matter of him being out there. But maybe him being with Cooper Flag could lessen the deal. But I hope none of those guys are like that. Cooper Flag seems like someone who really loves basketball. So do all of these top guys. I mean, Ace Bailey went to a bad school on purpose so that he could play more basketball to himself and to Dylan Harper. So
where's Ace Bailey playing out of again? Or is he G League now? I can't remember. Like the names
Rutgers.
Rutgers. That's right.
Yep, him and Harper went to Rutgers. Two of the 3 best players in this year's draft, and they didn't make the tournament.
Okay, so now this is not ringing a bell. So you gotta understand, like my Rutgers basketball barely registers, but my cousin is like an AAU player. Like he's in the circuit. Kid's probably playing hopefully plays D1 ball. Like maybe one of the nicest. Watching him live was like watching a pro. It was like unbelievable. Anyway, I want to give him a little shout out, but he made his dad take him to go see a Rutgers game. I'm like, why? And then he says he was texting me. He goes, no, there's 2 dudes in this roster who are nice. I'm like, all right, like bet, dude. Now it's ringing a bell because I'm like, why does that name Ace Bailey sound familiar? Because like I'll start checking out NBA draft prospects that aren't named Cooper Flag in about 2 months when the lottery's coming up. Like, all right, well, because you also have to realize, as a Timberwolves fan, I have not had to pay attention to the draft besides last year in a long time. Like we killed it last year. Terrence Shannon Jr., Dillingham, both are great players. They're both playing great for us right now. And honestly, Minnesota's won, I think, 11 out of their last 15. So I'm not complaining. But years prior, because of the Rudy Gobert trade, we haven't had a first-round pick. So it's really been weird trying to pay. Like, like the Scotty Barnes draft. I didn't even read. I don't even think we picked anybody until like round 2. So I was like, all right, well, whatever. Same thing with the Cade Cunningham. Like I just did not care. So this is going to be a fun and interesting year because there's a lot. I've paid a lot of attention to college basketball this year, so I'm really interested to see what's going on. A couple quick updates. Yale and Texas A&M has just tipped off, and Arkansas and Kansas are neck and neck at 16-14. Also, apparently a fan threw a water bottle at Louisville's coach, and he flipped out about it, and nobody did anything about it. I love it. I hate every ACC school not named Miami or North Carolina.
Or Cal.
I get at least he didn't get the Tracy Morgan. He didn't get the Tracy Morgan treatment.
Bro, that y'all see that dude? Man. Like that puked. I had to leave in a wheelchair. That is wild.
Yeah, James Dolan's got to send him a nice hefty care package because apparently they said it was food poisoning.
I wonder what he ate at MSG that caused that.
It could also have not been MSG. It could have been
true.
Beforehand. Man. He could have had some chow fun, some bad chow fun, some non-fun chow fun.
If I'm missing one day and I'll come on the show, it's because I had some bad chow fun. Oh, that was so good. Oh man, I love chow fun, man. It's all about those like random Chinese restaurants, bro. They got the good stuff.
Yeah,
I had a phase when I was like maybe like high school or early college where I would just only ordering things from the Chinese takeout place based off of the pictures on the menu. Like I wouldn't order the orange chicken or whatever. I would only order. I think I got to. I don't remember what it was. Mei Chow. I don't know. I got something weird. I got to something very strange. Didn't like it. Very odd. I stopped doing it after that.
I'm trying to connect the dots here for you, buddy. I'm like.
It was chow something, but it had multiple things in it, and it wasn't fun. It was
no, it's not chow mei, right? Chow mei is different.
No,
I can't think of it.
Might have been Mei Chow. I don't know, but it was bad. I couldn't do it, and I stopped. I went back to orange chicken for the rest of my life.
There you go. It's better to be safe than sorry. I'm gonna say that. It's better to be safe than sorry. Yeah.
Fair enough.
They know my order too. It's like as soon as I go in. It's like as soon as I go in and it's like, you want beach chow fun? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, all right, bet. Give me like 10 minutes. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Literally.
My buddy used to call down the corner. So
Nate, I'm so proud of you.
You got it, man.
My buddy used to call down the corner every other day to the point where they'd call and it'd be his number and they'd be like, pint of the chicken lo mein with egg roll. And they're like, he's like, yeah, how'd you know? He's like, this is Mike, right? And she's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, you call like twice a week.
Mike. I know Mike. Of course, Mike. That's his freaking order.
He would order there like twice a week when we were younger, and I'm like, yeah. He would be like pint of chicken lo mein, and she'd be like egg roll too, and he'd be like, yeah, and she's like, yep, Mike, be done 15.
All right, Ant, you've been pretty quiet. What is your go-to Chinese food order?
I mean, I really like to switch it up. If I did have to say what I do get the most, though, I'm just a bigger fan of rolls, cheesesteak rolls, pizza rolls, egg rolls. Those usually are kind of more up my alley. I like handheld food, if that makes sense. I mean, I guess with sweet and sour chicken you could do that, but that's probably the second most ordered thing. So
egg rolls be smacking. Oh yeah, that was good too.
Can't go wrong with a pizza roll, like a cheesesteak roll. The only problem with cheesesteak rolls, some places just load up too much onion, and it ain't the end of the world, but
too much onion. That's
not a cheese onion roll, So.
Is a cheesesteak roll pretty much like an egg roll, but with cheesesteak in it, or are we talking like a sandwich?
It is, yeah. Like literally, think of like cheese steak, like onion, and then just in a roll. Yeah. Like if you were to split a egg roll in half, you look at meat and cheese. Same thing with a pizza roll. It's that. A pizza roll though, I think they just put cheese and like marinara in there, and like mush it all up, and it's greatness.
Like inverted Totinos.
Yeah, that's actually a beautiful way to how to describe it.
So like the those Philly cheesesteak rolls, now every like hipster burger joint has them all up and down the East Coast. So every Connecticut place, every Connecticut like bar that has decent food, as I make air quotes, has like that in their menu. And like I was with my buddy, and he's like, "Yo, let's order apps for the table." I'm like, "All right, bet." And he's like, "I'm like, I'm smart. I order something like you get your money's worth." So like Irish nachos, which is sliced potatoes instead of chips or, get wings or get fries, onion rings, whatever. And he's like, yo, let's go get these Philly cheesesteak rolls. I'm like, no, those are on your tab because they're going to send you 3 egg rolls. They're going to be sliced down the middle and they're going to be not filling for $16. And they're going to taste frozen to hell. So he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, if you've had them at one bar, you've had them at them all. But my order for Chinese food, my go-to like basic one is always like chicken and broccoli is what I grew up on. My mom was big on making sure like me and my sister got our protein veggies in. I love beef chow fun. That one always hits. But then one that I grew up in, this is maybe like my freaking just like love of fried chicken is General Tso's. Every time I will blow through a container of that stuff. I have to actually restrict how much I actually will eat of it, but General Tso's is probably my go-to guilty pleasure order. That and spring rolls. But also, ladies and gentlemen, joining us now because he's going to tell us his Chinese food order right off the rip. Host of the High Low Sports Podcast, our NFL, one of our NFL experts, and our version of Daniel Jeremiah. Oh yeah. Also, he's a Hunter Renfrow stunt double. Ladies and gentlemen, DJ Stewart. I bumbled the hell out of that, man. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I have a low standard, so it's all good. Like it was good.
Yeah. I'm also trying to respond because apparently I wasn't supposed to go live on YouTube, but I was like, it's our personal channel. It's okay. Maybe a misread of a label. Anyway, all good there, buddy. How you doing, man? How's your bracket looking? What's going on?
Brackets are tolerable for the most part. The best bets are in Spain because I needed Montana and Wisconsin to get over 151.5, and the dumbasses finished at 151 on the dot because they couldn't make free throws and they don't have nearly. There's way too many pale people on the court at one time. It was.
You mean Montana and Wisco? Yeah, it literally looked like a Connecticut State basketball tournament right there. I was like, what the hell?
Like somehow Wisconsin went 7 minutes with only 2 points, and I'm like, you guys really couldn't find one free throw in there for me? You're up by 20. Just bring in the 14th guy, bring in the Make-A-Wish Foundation kid, and give him a free basket. Give me something here.
Damn.
Yo, DJ is on his thing right now. It's okay. My bets that hit, I nailed BYU and I nailed McNeese State. Georgia screwed me because I'm probably gonna get Arkansas over Kansas. Because, John Calipari's got them boys running. Even though I figure, the 7 guys who are a healthy lineup will get us through round 1. But then after that, they're going to get smoked. But at least get them through getting through Kansas. But, dude, I'm laughing. Like, I watched the McNeese State Clemson game was hilarious because McNeese State was beating them down. And then they started getting, like, you could tell they were never there before because they started getting really amped up. And then Clemson started hitting threes. Like, they were looking like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson out there for a minute. Like, everything was hitting. And it got down to, 8-9 points with a minute or two to go. I was like, oh, this is stressful now. Because, this is my big money maker single bet, money line bet tonight. And then they finally closed out. And McNeese State, shout out to them, man. Everything's a reverse dunk or, some crazy stuff in transition. They got my boy with the boom box jamming the Kodak Black on the way in. I love that stuff. That is some of the stuff I love about March Madness. One year we had Sister Jean. This year we have an equipment manager doing his best Devo Samuel impression, but the music's actually kind of bumping. So I love it. McNeese State is one of those teams I'm rooting for this March. Also, I love being the heel, no pun intended, because everyone hates North Carolina apparently. Which is just funny to me because if we keep winning, the hate's going to grow. So I love that. But I don't know why I bet on Louisville. I feel like that was 11:30 at night, me scrambling to try to go to bed because I had a demo shit this morning. And now I'm like, why did I pick Louisville? I knew they were going to lose. Creighton's they were built to lose to Creighton.
They're built to do good when you have that backcourt. Usually a backcourt like that does well in March Madness. Problem is when Creighton is shooting 1,000% from every square inch of the court, there's not much you can do. Every time you start to get a little momentum, some random dude hits 3 threes in a row. Your future accountant goes 3 of 4 from 3 in a less than 60-second span.
Not Doug McDermott, man. Just
that was ridiculous. Every time Louisville did anything, Creighton got 3 threes in 3 possessions. They could not miss.
My favorite thing was I had to look up where Creighton was back when I was in high school when Dougie McBuckets first came on the scene. But I don't know, man. I'm shooting okay. Georgia getting their absolute head kicked in by Gonzaga kind of screwed me a little bit. At least, I mean, I had them losing next round anyway. I've never been a big believer in Gonzaga unless they have some no-name, some like white boy who's going to get drafted in the top 10 or Jalen Suggs. Like, I don't really believe in their aura that much, even though Matt's a big Gonzaga stan.
I mean, I just picked them for like 8 years straight, and it just screwed me every year. But, that was actually when they were supposed to win each year, and then they just choked.
Now they're going to win this year because you didn't pick them. Other than that, I mean, like today's games are kind of quiet. I mean, all the higher seeds won except for McNeese beating Clemson. But Deej, how you feel? Like semi-quiet week in the NFL so far. We did see Jalen Milroe run a 4.37 unofficial at his combine. Apparently, the Steelers went down and watched Omar Khan, Tomlin, the whole crew is down there. My favorite is Matt put this in the chat, so Matt opens up to the table. McShay, aka Todd. He has now Jackson Dart going 7 to the Jets. So I'll open this up to the guests first. And do you think Jackson Dart belongs even in the top 15 picks, or do you think this is just agents trying to get guys to move them up their draft boards?
I think it's agents trying to get guys paid, guys moved up, and that's not a slight towards Dart at all. To be honest, the top 2 guys in Ward and Sanders are going to go where they go just because teams up there need quarterbacks. I kind of see them more as like mid to late round prospects overall in comparison with everyone else. I think guys like Dart, Milroe,
podcast there, my friend.
Calling him one of the bare minimum 20 best players in a 300 plus player draft I wouldn't call it slander. And he has the real potential to go 1. We just posted a clip about that today, but Dart, Milroe, guys like Howard, Kyle McCord, who I've come around to a little bit. I don't think any of those guys should be sniffing the first round. I could see Dart maybe in the middle, back half of the second round. Same with Milroe, but that I kind of think this is just a little bit of smoke to move a guy up.
Well, it's so funny. There was a show a really crappy football show. I mean, it was fun to watch when I was in high school, but Ballers with Dwayne Rock Johnson actually did an accurate representation of what these guys do. They literally schmooze up these media personalities to get them to move them up their draft boards to get drafted higher. It's a real practice. So my favorite thing about this is that somebody is telling Todd McShay he's going to go 7 to the Jets, even though the Jets just picked up Justin Fields, who last time I checked is 25 years old. And if they're going to get somebody, I see them going to get a Kyle McCord or a Dylan Gabriel or even a Jalen Milroe in the second round if he's available, not wasting their 7th pick when they easily go get a boy from your school, Tyler Warren, somebody who actually can help their offense day 1. So that's honestly my opinion about the whole situation. I will say this because I got in an argument with a buddy of mine who listens to the show. So I also want to kind of bring this up. But DJ, quick, before I get into this whole talk about Ward, Sanders, and the whole lot with his quarterback class, what's your thoughts? Am I on point here with this segment? Do you think Jackson Dart even sniffs the top 15? What's going on?
I'm a Jackson Dart fan. I like him. I think he should be quarterback 3. But whoever is trying to say he needs to go that early clearly doesn't have daughters, because that is the type of guy you don't want anywhere near your family, or you don't want coming home with your daughter as well. You keep Jackson Dart as far away as possible. He is a 2nd, 3rd round guy. I like him. I think there is something there. The fact that his brother's named Diesel is still absolutely hilarious to me.
I love that.
But that's a 2nd, 3rd round pick. Maybe in a year or 2 he gets a chance if you're a little bit quarterback iffy, or if you have an older guy. Will Howard, you take him in the 6th round, and maybe he turns into Brock Purdy at best, but you don't have high hopes there. Jalen Milroe, you bring in to be fun. You don't this is
Terrell Pryor with a better release.
Like, this is like 2021, basically, I think it was, or 2022, when everyone thought Malik Willis was going to go number 2 to the Lions because Dan Campbell liked him. And we saw Kenny Two Fingers, basically, is the only first-round quarterback.
Super Bowl champion, Kenny Two Fingers.
Yeah, and he's about to be bottom of the AFC North, Kenny Two Fingers at this point. So Ward Sanders, 1st-round picks, especially for quarterback-needy teams, I think they have the higher upside. But in the same vein as what Antonio said, none of the other guys should really be sniffing the 1st round. Even those 2, they're 1st-round guys, but I don't think any of them are like, yep, this is your franchise savior right away. It's bring him in, lots of talent. You do it right, he could be awesome. But let's reel it in just a touch.
So I went on a little bit of a rant with this kid because he's like, what about like Caleb Williams last year? I'm like, everyone knows I am a Caleb Williams denier. I am not a fan of his game. I never was. Loved him at Oklahoma when he was just having fun, playing with all that energy. The only quarterback in like, I loved May. I love Daniels more, obviously. And I was also a big Michael Penix fan. We'll see how that goes. But I said, I'm like, listen, I love Cam Ward more than Caleb Williams. I love Cam Ward more than Michael Penix. I love Cam Ward more than Bo Nix. And he's like looking at me like, really? I'm like, yeah. He goes, yeah, it took him an extra year of cooking in the oven down in Miami to get it going. But, dude, he checks every box for me. The bonehead throws across his body, you can work that out of him. That's not really a big issue. But every other thing, he checks the box. Confidence, the leadership, the throwing accuracy, the ability to hit every throw on the field. The just enough mobility not to get himself killed, yes. And my biggest thing is, like, he was trying to tell me that Ward is not that far from Sanders. I'm like, no, it's not close. If you actually take it seriously and you're looking for actual quarterback stuff, my favorite thing about Shedeur Sanders, and I've said this on the show, we did our quarterbacks evaluations, Sanders' best trait to me is the fact that he always keeps his eyes downfield, even when he's scrambling. Ward does the same thing. But everything Sanders has a plus, Ward does that and adds 3 other tools to it. That's why I said it's different. Honestly, if this was not a draft where 4 or 5 teams needed a quarterback early, I would say Sanders goes in the 20s. But the Giants need a quarterback. The Browns need a quarterback. The Raiders need a quarterback for the future. They still have my boy Geno right now. I kind of look at it from a weird perspective. I don't know. Am I off base there? Because, I mean, yeah, obviously we get it. I'm a Miami Hurricanes fan, and Cam Ward was basically the quarterback messiah we've been praying for since Ken Dorsey left. But, like, I saw an NFL prospect who had very similar, like, stats, efficiency ratings, everything else, to like a Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying he's going to be Patrick Mahomes, but similar playing style, had better weapons than obviously Mahomes had at Texas Tech. I feel like the whole Ward, it's not Ward Sanders, it's Ward 30, to quote Brad Pitt, 30 feet of shit, then it's Sanders and Dart. I think Sanders and Dart are closer than Sanders and Ward. That was my point.
Yeah, I mean, you're a Miami fan for sure. That's pretty evident.
On tape, there's no question. Shedeur Sanders gets bailed out by his receivers on half his throat.
There's a difference in getting bailed and giving the best player in the country a shot. If Ward is your quarterback one, I like wouldn't debate it at all. Both of these guys are extremely talented. The only ones, here's what I'll have to say about Sanders. If you're a team that's looking for, the quarterback with the higher upside, like you said, maybe invest in it like a Patrick Mahomes style. Ward is your guy. The arm strength is off the charts. His mobility has definitely somewhere to grow. And his pocket presence was good early. The reason why I think Sanders is a little bit more built on a CJ Stroud type of plane, maybe not the high ceiling, but a very high floor. The accuracy is scary. It is very, very scary. And then the leap, honestly, what a lot of you can say this with Ward too. Quarterbacks who are in college, 4 or 5 years, you maybe don't see that, like the minuscule jump. But Sanders in 1 year with an offensive line that was a lot better, but definitely, you're not taking it against anybody else's.
In that passing league he played in. So yeah, no, I agree with you there.
He went from somebody who we're talking about, he was taking sacks at such an alarming rate. People were saying, is he protecting his completion percentage? Which is entirely goofy. Like, no quarterback will ever do that. To a quarterback who, like you said, keeps his eyes downfield, great pocket presence, an excellent touch on the ball. And yeah, his wide receiver core could go toe-to-toe with anybody in the nation. However, I'm an Eagles fan. I hear it all the time that you have this, and that. The quarterback's not really a thing, but at the end of the day, the guy gets the job done, whoever's throwing the ball. So that's just me. I don't have a problem with the Cam Ward quarterback one agenda. I'm still kind of picking between the two anyway. But those two, I think Sanders and Ward is most certainly the tier one. And then Dart and Milroe, I'll say Dart and Milrow will be the tier 2, and then you got other guys. I'm trying to work on a way to figure out McCord being in there.
I like McCord.
He's a Philly guy, so but it's hard. It's very hard to make the argument.
Slower show from Louisville is actually pretty good too. The one player who I love how he was getting all this hype pre-draft, and now there was like that one stretch after he won the national title. But Will Howard, dude, his throwing at the combine was so bad. It was like watching a horror movie. I was like, "Oh, dude, you can't hit the broadside of a barn." And it was really funny because right before the day he threw, McAfee was talking about how there's this guy throwing the ball over a parking structure, and he's talking about. I'm like, "Listen, Pat, I love you, man, but like that was totally some forced stuff because there ain't no way Will Howard's this good. He looked awful." And I called Will Howard Tim Tebow with a better release and less downfield speed.
He's a right-handed.
Well, if you ask our TikTok commenters, they would say he's better than every quarterback in this draft.
Yeah, no, we got like flooded by Ohio State fanboys, and they called me an idiot for ranking Cam Ward as the best quarterback, or all of us for ranking Cam Ward as the best quarterback. And we're just like, yeah. For some reason, Ohio State fans love our show. We don't get it.
We appreciate it.
We do. We love. Listen. You guys are a fun team to hate. So,
yeah.
Speaking of receivers bailing out the quarterback, that's all you have to look at right there. I mean, you got
listen.
Yeah. Look. If Jeremiah Smith could, if just throwing it in his directions, bailing me out, I'm taking every time. That kid is insane.
Right.
Okay,
he's a top 5 pick this year if he could come out at 18 years old. That man can't even smoke. That man can't even smoke a cigarette barely, and he'd still get picked in the top 5.
Y'all have to understand why it hurts watching Jeremiah Smith play. You know where he committed for almost 3? I think it was like 3/4 of his entire junior year was to Miami, and he flipped last minute to Ohio State. It still kills me. That man could have been in a white helmet. That man could have been catching balls from Cam Ward. That's what kills me. Like, he won his national title, great. But it's like, dude, that sucks, man. Like, it kills me. I'm like, Mario couldn't close up effing deal.
He does struggle closing games, as we've seen. So, I mean, closing deals.
If anybody wants an A&M Yale update, A&M's up 10 on Yale, 8 minutes left in the half. They were just up 13.
Matt. And
this sucks because this is my best available bracket, and this is the only bracket I picked Yale to beat A&M because I let the noise get to my head. Everywhere else I picked A&M.
Well, as the noise,
A&M because I despise Connecticut colleges. So
they're coming back.
I mean, listen, you see what I mean. Even Matt's not a fan of UConn anymore. You see his title.
Oh, he changed.
I didn't put that. Jared put that.
No, I didn't.
Go Huskies.
Blasphemy. No, Shut your mouth. In football, yes. Listen, UConn football is so much fun to root for because they're such a lovable losers.
Oh, they're independents, aren't they?
Yes, they are. All right. All right.
Oh, Lord.
So we didn't get a chance to talk about this, but that much. Fellas, we finally have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins are both under contract in Cincy. Apparently, Trey Hendrickson, the deal's still not done yet. So are we all getting calls about playing for the Bengals this year? Like, what's the vibe, Cincy? Like, is it? I don't understand. Like, if there was ever a time to reiterate, pay your guys early. Shout out Howie. This is it, because you're paying T. Higgins more than I believe his contract is equal or close to AJ Brown's.
He's less than AJ Brown, but he's like 8th in the NFL total, I believe, because AJ Brown I think is 5th or 6th.
He's not the 8th best receiver. I'm
sorry. I probably pray to Darren Muji twice a day to extend Sauce and Garrett as we speak because this price is just going to go up. He's not going to get Garrett Wilson is
$30 million, 28 guaranteed.
Garrett Wilson isn't going to get Jamar Chase money, but he's definitely going to get, probably more than T. Higgins kind of money. So it's just that contract T. Higgins I'm looking at is just that's setting the tone. So I need you to sign this man now before I wind up having to pay an extra $10 million a year after somebody else gets signed. The Bengals, I don't understand. I mean, they're going to be one of those teams where they might have a top 3 offense and they're going to have the worst defense in the league, and they're probably going to win another 7 or 8 games because they're putting up 30-something points, but the defense is allowing 40. They just refuse to address the defense. It's actually kind of sadly funny. But Sam Hubbard retires after they were going to let him go get a trade. Trey Hendrickson might sit out, which if you ask Hassan Reddick is not a great move. So
or
I would
Le'Veon Bell, or every other player.
Melvin Gordon. I would play, but I understand he probably wants a deal, so we'll see. He might be a draft day move, but that defense is going to be bad. That defense is going to be plucking guys out of the UFL to go play for them because it's going to be bad. And I don't know. You got to address that side of the ball because eventually your players are going to want out because they're going to pull a Myles Garrett because they're not winning games. And I don't know. The world will be shocked. Bengals fans will be crawling into a hole to die if Joe Burrow ever requests a trade because they can't address the defense.
Well, on the bright side, I'm glad they brought back both. Obviously Chase was going to come back, but to get Higgins too back as well, that's a good thing. Maybe the defense, it's a good thing for them too. It's less pressure on them. All they have to do is just make maybe 1 or 2 stops and then give the offense back the ball.
That's the problem is that they got to make the stops.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they seem confident. One of the linebackers was quoted saying all we have to do is get the ball back to the offense and we can just play freely and everything. And they have a new DC, Al Golden from Notre Dame, and he was a pretty good DC for the Irish this past season.
You said a bad name.
What?
Al Golden is death.
I don't get it.
He used to be the head coach of Miami. He's one of the worst coaches in Miami history.
Oh, well, he
was the one who was kind of charged with eradicating any swag that Miami had left from the 2000s. He was the one who got rid of all the traditions. He's was wearing looking like a complete corny dude, wearing a suit and tie on the sideline, but sweating through it because it's Miami.
No disrespect to Vic Fangio, but if you put Vic Fangio as a DC of the Bengals, I don't think that still makes the Bengals defense that much better because of the people that he's going to have to deploy out there. They've got the running back. They haven't. I don't even know who. I think they maybe have Gesicki still for tight end. They got the receivers back. They got Burrow. If I'm them, I am drafting solely defense in the draft. Every pick is going to be a defensive player.
Yeah. I mean, maybe get another offensive lineman if one of those guards out of Georgia or Texas comes out, or maybe you see the kid out of Mizzou is sitting there, take him. But other than that, yeah, just go straight defense. Just follow the Philadelphia method. Just draft all guys from either Georgia or Alabama, and you should be okay.
They need corners, right?
Don't leak the method now.
It's okay.
We have to keep doing it.
Listen, no. The new method is you draft guys from Ohio State. They always turn out great in the pros. Unless their name is Bosa, not really.
Or Wilson.
They need corners, right, Cincy?
They need everything.
They need defense.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
There's not
you and me are on their depth chart as their outside guys.
Ooh, yeah. I don't know if y'all saw. I posted actually, it was a collab post, so you could have saw it on the podcast page as well. But me and Danny are in a 7v7 league, and I caught a pick. I was at a corner in some man coverage, so I could hypothetically play for the Bengals, even though I know my payroll would probably be worse than a McDonald's cashier.
They could go re-sign Eli Apple, and he would probably be CB1.
Bro, Eli Apple.
I hate him.
Times. I don't even know.
So bad.
I think their best player is. Oh no, he's on the Falcons. Never mind.
Wait, Cam Taylor-Britt's their best corner, right?
Oh yeah. Yep. I'm looking at the depth chart. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just literally the Pat. He's trying to be Pat Beverly. That's his only issue.
Well, their two best pass rushers, one retired, one's on the trade block, and they got rid of their best D tackle. And they've got
They have Chris Jenkins.
What is this? 2017?
They're going to call up Ray Maluga and see if he still has it.
I feel like they can still have a path to getting it done with the offense and the players they have. I think they need to build themselves similar to the Saints of the late to mid 2010s, where you're not going to get stops, but you're going to get takeaways. Your entire game's going to be, all right, we get a takeaway here and a random stop here. We can win 35-24, put pressure on the offense by getting a takeaway, which in theory, a great pick for them would be a Malachi Starks at safety to fill that Jesse Bates spot.
Just because he's from Georgia doesn't mean he's going to the Eagles, Jared.
Yes, it does. Tell him. Yes, it does.
Either him or Xavier Watson.
Show, yeah.
I think he's getting.
It means he's coming to the Eagles. Malachi Starks already has his Eagles jersey picked out.
Or for whatever reason, people are hating on Will Johnson. If he's available there, you run that card to the podium and bring him there.
I don't get the hate. We're doing corners in 2 weeks, and I'm excited because he's like my favorite prospects to break down. Yeah, I don't get the hate on Will Johnson.
You don't have to tell me. I love Will Johnson. I put him as a top 10 guy already. Like, I think he's awesome. But I'm saying if he slips,
8 on my draft board. I was just like, why is the hate?
He's one of like 12 players linked to the Jets at 7.
Or there's
Matt, at this point, they're looking to draft guys who are already retired.
Or you can throw in Jedi Barron from Texas, who plays the nickel safety corner, Brian Branch-esque. Just skip. I think if they just go after ball hawks for Cincinnati, if they can keep Trey Hendrickson, you just have to get a stop here and a stop there, a takeaway here, a takeaway there.
Hope the refs don't screw you and have a whole rule change named after it.
Speaking about rule changes, you heard about that, right? The rule changes that were.
Oh, you mean the Packers and how they're a giant set of weenies? Yeah, I heard about it.
No, not that one. The other.
What about Detroit's?
Oh, okay. So listen, the standings thing, it's not going to get passed. I see the point of why they did it because listen, the Vikings kind of got hosed, but the Vikings were going to lose anyway because Sam Darnold, the second he got pressured, was just like, "You're open, Sam." That's a defense. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So, okay, I want maybe I'll get you guys' opinion on this. I just most of the time, the wildcard teams are wildcard teams, but And before we go, I want to get your thoughts, obviously, on the rule proposals. We have Detroit trying to ask for no longer automatic first downs with, I think it was defensive holding, and then we have the Packers being weenies, and then we have Eagles going for a unanimous overtime and like a playoff overtime rule, and I believe that was it. Besides the seeding one, what's your thoughts on everything? The full rules are proposed, and obviously, we'll let you shamelessly plug your podcast before we get off.
Well, I'll just start with the plug, get out the way. You can find us Sideline Summit on all social medias. And as for the rule change, the bad thing with the Packers is, okay, I saw a clip where a player was explaining it's like defensive players can't push defensive players, but offensive players can push offensive players. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Then if you're the Packers, go about it saying take back, like let defensive players push each other. Then now we'll really make it like a rugby scrum, just evening the playing field. That is different. On top of it all, though, the Eagles didn't even run it against them in the playoffs. I don't understand why it hurts.
I think the Packers actually ran more because they did that one with Luke Musgrave where he'd get like the one in motion.
Yeah,
they ran that like 8 or 9 times against them.
Exactly. So I don't necessarily get it. That's kind of like Batman couldn't get that kind of information out of me. Like he could not make me that sensitive about a football play. It's just not that deep. And then the reseeding thing, from a logical standpoint, I absolutely believe that makes sense. Yes, I'm tired of seeing 13, 14 win teams go on the road. It's not fair to the fans. It's a great season. It should be rewarded. But there's that piece of me that's like, winning divisions gotta matter. Yeah. These division games got to mean something. So a little more torn on that one. And then I think they're I don't know if this was a rule change, but they were talking about bringing in like electronic first downs. It's like it seems like every time Josh Allen loses, it's time to make a rule change.
Yeah, they're trying so hard to make him the face.
Yeah, and which ironic pulls back to the tush push where the Packers owner was like, that's not a play, it's an automatic first down. When we literally had a championship game lost over it because it's not an automatic first down.
No. And I had to explain this to a Bills fan, and then I'll let you kind of finish up. He's like, listen, Josh Allen went like into his back onto it. When you watch Jalen Hurts, he's full steam ahead, helmet down, shoulders rolled, and he's into the pile. It's like trying, like, listen, like you can't go if you're trying to try to attempt a QB sneak, you gotta sneak. Go, Antonio. Let you finish, and then I know you got.
Thank you. It was nice talking to you guys.
Appreciate you coming on, man. Sideline Summit, check them out right now. A new episode just dropped, I believe, earlier this week. Yep. And then they have another one coming up today, right?
Probably tomorrow or Saturday.
Okay. Well, check them out. They're all a bunch of Philly boys. We love them. The great show. One of our best. Antonio, thank you, buddy.
Yep.
Go Celtics.
Go Celtics. Shout out to the new owner.
That's right. Yeah. Breaking news. New owner of the Boston Celtics for the 15th.
I'll never say that again. I'm a Lakers fan, so. But just for his sake.
Hey, nobody likes California teams. Oh.
No Leave my guys alone.
Even though the only time the Lakers actually made me root for them was one, Kobe, two, the series on HBO, which is actually kind of fun because Pat Riley playing. Adrian Brody actually played a pretty good Pat Riley. So I was really sad they canceled that because Jerry West's family was soft as melted cheese.
As long as we're better than the Timberwolves for this podcast's sake, I'm chilling.
It's okay, buddy.
Because
all your other teams are
I have to have
garbage.
something. Thank you. I have to have something, boss.
Oh no, it's okay. I had a Giants fan argue with me yesterday about how like I'm negative on the Giants. It wasn't you.
Thank God. I was like, I did not speak to you yesterday.
Nate, you are the most realistic Giants fan I've ever met in my life.
Well, thank you.
But you're like a realistic optimist, which is hilarious to me. Because you're man. I hope we win, but we suck.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, that's me.
Or my Hall of Fame quote, my Hall of Fame clip of when we had Scotty on back in August, and it was the middle of the we scored. It was just the randomest times in the middle of the game. My whole point is that this dude was getting at me because I said, "Hey, listen, there's a very realistic chance you guys are still gonna be a fourth place team." That's if my Dallas Cowboys tanking theory doesn't come true. If they really try to run it back, they are still an 8-win team.
We're so far off. Like I'm happy for next season coming, but our schedule looks so rough. It's
He
just
was telling me we're a good quarterback from being competitive. I'm like, I'm like a John Travolta meme. I'm like, what am I missing here? Like, I watch Giants every damn week because I'm in Connecticut. I have to. Like DJ, maybe you're a football nerd even more than me at this point. What am I missing? Is there some like magical sauce the Giants have if they get a Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, or is this dude off his rocker?
A little bit of both. There's a pathway, but it's incredibly unlikely. And it's going to start with they have to hit on every single draft pick, unfortunately. And I think that it probably would involve either a Shedeur or a Cam Ward, somebody that could be electric there. Maybe you get Jameis Winston and the Lord blesses him from picks and pick sixes, and that changes things up a little bit. Then you can use that pick a little bit. Then you can use those picks elsewhere. If you can get no picks Jameis, like you can get 2014 national champion, a Heisman Trophy winning Jameis, the last time he wasn't throwing picks.
Scary.
Then maybe. But it's you got to hit on all the picks. Then you can maybe do like a Washington, a Houston, like that sharp turnaround. Because I think Brian Daboll's a good coach if you give him competent quarterback. But I think he can get the most out of somebody who's not Daniel Jones, basically, or Tommy DeVito, or Tim Zitt, or any of those guys. Like if you give something useful there with a healthy offensive line, most importantly. And
you know who I miss?
Boyle.
I miss Tim Boyle. He was good for like a game. I know Matt knows that name. He was good for
former UConn quarterback Tim Boyle.
If you can get that offensive line to stay healthy too, like Andrew Thomas has to play more than 6 quarters. John Michael Schmitz has to play. Evan Neal has to not play.
John Runyon Jr. has to not suck.
They need to play.
He's not that bad.
I think if they can stay healthy and they hit in the draft, there's a path, but it's a very unrealistic one. I think they're not flipping around this year, almost guaranteed. But I think
they're a 7-win team this year with whoever they have a quarter. If they draft Shedeur, they're a 7-win team guaranteed. I think they have enough weapons where they can be a thorn in a lot of team sides. The problem is, like we talked about the Bengals having no defense. The Giants have nothing and then a couple of bright spots.
They got the Lamborghini parked next to a trailer park, basically.
Exactly. That Lamborghini
got some good
Malik Neighbors.
Like that defensive line is awesome. Malik Neighbors is awesome. They got some bits here and there. I do like Javon Holland. I think he's going to be very good for them as well. They're too spotty. It's literally like Swiss cheese across the roster. Like there's some really good spots and there's a hole. There's some really good spots in a hole. Mm-hmm. I think if they randomly fill those and then the coaching can maybe make a few plugs, like we've seen those teams that make those 90-degree turnarounds do. But it's a long ways to go. I think 2 years is more of a realistic expectation for them.
I think they make the playoffs in 2 years.
If they hit, they have to hit, and
if they bumble this, like Daboll's fired, Joe Shane gets burned to the stake. It's the whole 9 yards. Because I also think Joe Shane has the IQ of 2x4.
I think if they would have got rid of Joe Shane, it would have been 2 years, both a better upside. Right now, I think 2 years is the best case scenario. Like I think that's the problem is keeping both of them. Keeping both of them, I think, is the problem.
Would you offer Saquon Barkley $13 million a year? Okay,
we did.
Would you offer more to a wide receiver who's only known for being good against one team?
But would you offer Saquon $14 million a year?
Exactly.
Well, no, we don't.
I think it's going to be an unfortunate lose-lose scenario for the Giants this year. And what I mean by that is, I think my bold prediction. I think Brian Dable and Shane are gone at the end of this year. They're looking to sign. Yeah, for worse for them and probably Nate, but best for everybody else. But
yeah,
I mean, if they sign Rodgers or Russ, you're not bringing Rodgers or Russ in to be the backup. They're going to be the starters. They're going to start them for the season, whether they draft a rookie or not. So if you have Russ Wilson or Aaron Rodgers and you draft Shedeur Sanders, you're going to play one of those guys to start your season off. Maybe they work in halfway through the year if one of them just doesn't work out. But I don't know, man. That Giants schedule is really tough.
It's tough.
Their best case scenario at a veteran would be Rodgers or Russ. If they get Flacco or Winston, man, I'm sorry, but I think that's like 5 wins right there and everybody's gone. But the only potential saving grace is that they are able to get Ward or Sanders, and maybe that buys them one more year because they got the quarterback.
Brown shot the system.
My prediction is that Sanders or Ward, whoever they get at 3, is going to be the next regime's project to mold. I don't think Dable or Shane are going to make it out of this year with the current selections that they're going to be. Because like I said, they're going to sign a veteran, and there's a really good chance that veteran's going to be the starter for the season. And if they roll the season with Rodgers and Russ, with that schedule, I mean, the Jets had a fairly like middle of the pack, easy-ish schedule. We just couldn't beat the Broncos. We couldn't beat the Vikings. We couldn't beat the Bills. We couldn't beat anybody. And you're going to put him on the Giants with a much worse offensive line and equal to definitely less offensive weapons currently, in my opinion, on the Giants. I just don't. I think he's going to be running for his life if it's Rodgers. If it's Rodgers, Russell Wilson will better manage that offense, I think, because he's a little younger, he's a little more mobile. But I think that the fate of Dable and Shane are hanging on by an actual thread, and I think there's probably like an 80+% chance they're not going to be there next year, regardless of what happens in this draft.
I don't want them to go. I just don't. I don't want them to go. I
want Dable to still. Nate, this is what I've been trying to tell you for the last 2 years. You want Dable to say he's a great coach, but Joe Shane is going to continue to kill your. He's the reason there's no more Hard Knocks offseason because he's that stupid. Yeah. He got the show canceled. He's that dumb.
If I could clarify my prediction a little more,
out there.
Shane, if anybody should go, it should be Shane. If anybody should stay, it should be Dable.
But I think, Shane he's doing the right thing by he's truly rebuilding, and he's doing it. He's focusing more on like the youth, and like you're supposed to rebuild the right way, and he's doing so. Yes, Saquon's gone, blah blah blah. We couldn't get Jaden Daniels, blah blah blah. McKinney's gone, blah blah blah. But like, hey, yeah,
Saquon
but like,
being gone, yeah, it's,
I like.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just feel like we made the playoffs in 22, which was fantastic. I was so happy when we did. I know it was a fluke. I get that, and that kind of set us back. But like he's fixing the roster, and we talked about it today with me and Brian on the show. It was pretty fun doing so about like Dave Gettleman and his decision making, whatever the case may be. He's still
before this.
We're like 80 to 90% done with fixing Gettleman's mess. So okay. I just think that we're still far off, right? Like I hope we contend soon. I really do. It's gonna be a couple of years, like you guys mentioned. Mm-hmm. But I just think. I don't think Shane should be blamed as much as he has been. I really, yes, Hard Knocks was painted a very bad image of him, but this offseason, he's pretty good.
I mean, listen, he got a good deal for Javon Holland, and he got a decent deal for that cornerback whose name I cannot remember who you guys signed.
Paulson Adebo.
Thank you. I think you guys overpaid for Brian Burns, but trade wise, not contract wise. The problem is with me, it's yes, I get it. I hate using this analogy. It's like the girl who dates the really crappy guys and dates a guy who's not great, but he's not terrible. And you're just like, he's such an improvement. It's like, but yeah, you deserve so much better. Like the Giants are a blue blood franchise, man. They're supposed to be good. As much as this kills me, they're supposed to be better than the Jets. Right now, the Jets are one decent draft pick from being better than the Giants. I'm sorry, that's the truth.
If I could say something bold here, I don't see much of a difference between Joe Shane and Dave Gettleman. I'm just seeing a younger general manager right now. I see two general managers that have tried.
A less spiteful general manager.
One tried to build the offensive line through the draft. Didn't work out. One is trying to build the offensive line with free agents. Not working out as well. Both have traded their team's best player at that time, which was Odell and Saquon. Let them walk. I see both general managers have tried hard to fix the offensive line. Both have not succeeded at it. They both have traded their best players at each time. I don't know. I'm seeing similarities in the sense of both of those types of those GM styles and what they're doing. I think Shane has done a better job at. I don't even know if I could say better job at drafting the talent because Gettleman also drafted Saquon. He drafted Neighbors. It's very similar. It's just not working out. I think they need to change. I think if anything, they got to get rid of Shane. We're going to let this season play out, but yeah.
I want Shane at least through 27. If nothing's done, or 26. Sorry, 26. If there's nothing done with the 26, I will move on. But I believe in second chances.
Nate, this is like
in life and in sports.
He started on second base and he got thrown out trying to stretch it into a triple.
Maybe instead
Nate, you're like Stanton rounding third going home when you should never go home.
I don't know. I don't know if it's my positivity or it's just
You're totally your positivity, which is honestly one of your most admirable traits. But buddy, dude, he started at second base and he got thrown out trying to steal to third. It's not really good right now.
Yeah. I just hope we have some improvement, and I hope that improvement, in 25 saves them at least. But
so we're ignoring the big problem here with the Giants. Hear me out. Their biggest problem is not even Joe Shane. It's who's behind the strings pulling. I think the Mara family really needs to take a look at how much involvement they have. And listen, I'm not hating on John Mara. I actually know people who know him personally, who consider him a friend. So technically I have a second tier connection to the Maras. Apparently they're good, nice people. They're very good. They're very generous. They're just like good people. But dude, like, yeah, John Mara was kind of right about the whole Saquon thing, but they should have fired Joe Shane after the season. Kept Daboll, said, "Hey, Brian, let's go get a GM who fits our thing and let's roll."
If you let go of one, you gotta let go of the other.
No, you don't.
Nah, because but you bring a new GM, it's like, okay, well, I didn't really,
Well, you have the coach involved with the hire. You see who's available. Listen, if you do it fast enough, it's worked before. But listen, Nate, the thing is, not every GM is going to be Howie Roseman. Okay, like, or sorry, who's the guy out of San Fran who's been good for you? Oh, sorry, L.A. Les Snead. Not all GMs are going to be like Pro Bowlers. Like, they're not all going to be amazing. That was my point. It's the fact that the Giants have half made the right move for the past decade since Eli retired. Half of it's great, but then they do something on the back end. You're like, why? You have me almost rooting for you guys to succeed. That's a scary prospect. But it's okay. Your team could have had to hire Daniel Jones just to be competition to Anthony Richardson. It's okay. Yeah. Or your team could literally be tanking with Brian Schottenheimer. So listen, as bad as both of you guys' situations are, or even Matt, honestly, Matt's is kind of in the upswing.
Well, I will say, in terms of quarterback, if we get Flacco or Winston, they're starting 4 games if we put the rookie in there. You bring Wilson and he's starting half the season. You bring Rodgers in, Rodgers is playing the whole season, no matter who we get at quarterback. There's like 3 different tiers.
I don't think I see him I don't think the only quarterback you guys are bringing in, I think it's got to be Russ. He was there for that long, and they're just waiting to see if they can get Rodgers. But I think Rodgers either retires or goes to Pittsburgh.
I just don't want us to wait on him. Like, for us to be like, oh, we're going to wait on Rodgers according to reports. Like, don't do that, man. You have a guy waiting to sign in Wilson according to reports. I've heard nothing about Winston ever since his meeting on Tuesday, which is weird. I don't know. Like, honestly, I don't want Rodgers. I did want Rodgers in the beginning, but ever since he's making us wait, I don't want that anymore. So you might as well just move on.
I feel like it would have been great underratedly fun quarterback thing for the Giants to do. It's already too late now. I think they should have went after Mac Jones. You could have done the same thing that Jets did with Justin Fields. He's young enough still. If it works, holy cow, you scored big because he has shown moments of at least throwing the ball accurately. When he fails, then you then you try it again next year because right now you're stuck in purgatory.
All I'm saying is the Jets' offense next year should have the best rushing offense in the league, solely because the quarterback's going to run for 70 yards a game, and then Breece Hall can get you at least another 50.
And Braylon Allen might muscle himself through for another 50.
Yeah. Now, passing offense-wise, we will be like 32.
Or we'll all be on Garrett Wilson's back.
He's going to throw like 140 yards a game.
He lets it fly. Deep will get you 180 on 8 completions.
I mean, hey, Garrett Wilson might have the 4th year in a row of 1,000 yards, so he could be the next Mike Evans.
They had a good connection in Ohio State, so you never know.
Yeah, what are you saying?
So, baseball news, quick. Alex Verdugo has signed with the Atlanta Braves to replace
He's already sent down to the minors.
To replace Justin Profar, who's injured for the next whole month. Poor Scotty.
I think they put him down to the minors, and in his contract, he has a one demotion clause or something like that, I think they said. Listen, I would have loved to have Verdugo back. What happened, Nate?
Shitter's wearing a Giants hat. Yay!
He's also wearing a Cleveland hat, man. He's just trying to.
He walked around with 6 hats on the back of his backpack one time.
Dude, he's just listen. I want you, Nate. Nate, I would love for Shitter to go to the Giants. 1, because I'd love to root against him more. 2, I'd love for you guys to get him. I think he's good for your franchise. 3, I would love to see Nolan Smith body slam him into the ground. Anyway,
dang man, sheesh.
I don't like his attitude. It really annoys the hell out of me.
Why?
Like, dude, if your name was not Sanders, you would have been probably a FCS quarterback and maybe transferred up and gotten to like a decent Pac-12 school or Big 12 school. I don't think he's as good as everyone says he is. Sanders carries weight. I think he's made the best of his opportunity. I give him credit for that. This is why I was getting a little not annoyed, but I was like, when Ant was trying to really say him and Ward were close, I was like, brother, it ain't close. Because it just, to me, like, I love Sanders, but his attitude and like that whole like flex the wrist, dude, like nobody cares.
But you can't. So I understand what you're saying.
His daddy's his head coach for his entire.
But like, he has some swag to him. Like, there ain't nothing wrong with that.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with having swag. You just got to back it up. And here's the thing: like, listen, when he goes and takes a snap in Philadelphia and Jalen Carter chucks him into the next week, bro, like, you better put that swag away and get back to work. Listen, if he can go into the pros and do what like Jaden Daniels did, or even to a lesser extent what like Drew or like Bo Nix did, where he's just a good quarterback helping a team grow, I'm all for it. And I will give him all the respect. But, brother, there's a reason NFL GMs don't like your brashness. It's because you come off cocky, and to be honest, you're born on third, and you're trying to score on a dribbler into the outfield.
Honestly, the GMs are just soft. I'm sorry. You want this, formal player. Oh,
okay,
my God. He's wearing his hat backwards.
This is like, I like guys like CJ Stroud and Cam Ward who are just quiet, confident dudes who just like, I'm just.
Okay, hold on. CJ Stroud went on a world tour last summer after he had a good thing and put himself as the third best quarterback in the
draft
NFL.
prospect CJ Stroud.
Like, hold on now. Like, CJ Stroud did the world tour.
Not Amber Rose dating CJ Stroud, okay?
Like, hold on now, sir. Like, that's my brother in Christ, as he would say right now. Let's reel it in just a bit.
He did actually go. He is dating Amber Rose still.
Really?
I believe so.
Come on, CJ.
His name's
what was that?
Add into the Elder Scroll.
What was that lineman that the Chargers drafted last year?
Joe Alt Elite.
Joe Alt. I want all of my draft prospects to be that guy. He doesn't say anything. He had a little quarter zip from Marshall's on his draft day. And I don't even know how he was last year. I didn't hear anything about him.
Oh, he was great.
Outside of when he had to go against Myles Garrett, he was awesome.
Yeah, Myles Garrett owned him, but then again, Myles Garrett owns everyone he goes against except Lane Johnson.
I want all my draft picks
for a reason.
I want all my draft picks to be like that. They don't say anything. They just are the best players.
At tackle, Slater's amazing, and then you also have Joe Alt. Like, they just gotta get a weapon that's not Lad McConkey.
They need a little.
McConkey was great last season
in that skill position.
Dude, I want them to go get Marcus Golden so bad. I want with his speed. Listen, I think Justin Herbert's so overrated. But like
Texas.
Justin Herbert has all the talent in the world, but his ability to complete the transaction shows a lot to be desired. But dude, with that arm strength, with Golden speed and playmaking ability, come on, man.
They should bring out Keenan Allen. Bring the trio back together. I mean, the duo back together.
Dude, he can barely run a 5.040. Like he's breaking down. He looks like the guy who played the stealth bomber in the second Transformers movie. He's literally breaking down as he's trying to run a route.
Transformers.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, the Chargers chose to bring back Mike Williams and not Keenan Allen. So
you miss Mike Williams?
I love that, by the way. I think
no. I mean, now, yeah, because like we don't have anybody next to Garrett. So yeah, it's Alan Lazard. It's Xavier Gibson, who has butterfingers when he gets the ball thrown to him, and then we have Malachi Corley, who like we just didn't use, but we drafted in like the 4th round or 3rd round. Oh yeah, I would love Mike Williams right now.
And in 37 days, it'll be Tech McMillan next to him, so it'll be good.
No, I think Ted's going to Las Vegas.
Nah, the Gianti's going to Vegas. I feel like that would be.
I don't know. Because I don't know how Pete Carroll values running backs like that. I feel like he would totally draft a guy. He'd go like get Omarion Williams in like the 2nd, and then go get who's the kid? Oh, Damian Martinez out of Miami in like the 7th, and he'd just rotate them.
Are we doing a mock draft this year?
What?
Kentucky.
Our final mock draft is the week of the draft. We do it that Monday because you notice how we stacked last week so we could get ahead.
Yes.
We do this every year because we start a week later than we should. So we have to stack my birthday week. It happens every damn year. Hey, listen, I got to talk about offensive linemen on my birthday. I was happy as hell. I got the kick step on a show, man.
You'd be a sick left tackle, boss.
I played in high school. I played left tackle and edge rusher.
If only you blocked for me. Shit.
I didn't allow a single sack my senior year.
Really?
So to be fair, my quarterback had a very fast release. There was my first start at left tackle was the first game. We were down by 30. We were playing against 2 D1 prospects that were killing us. And I came in because one of our tackle got hurt. I was the Swiss Army knife old lineman because I could play every position. And I started a game at 4 different positions my senior year. I started 7 games at left tackle or 6 games at left tackle, 2 games at left guard. And then I came in for relief 1 game at center for about a quarter. And then I played right guard for a quarter. It was weird. I played every position except right tackle. Because the right tackle was younger than me. He was this freak of nature kid who just came in as a sophomore. But, dude, like, my favorite position to play, though, was left tackle. I actually enjoyed it because the technique of it is actually really intricate. Like, you have to be – I hated playing guard. Also, because my first start at guard was against a zone blocking scheme. That was hell. No, sorry. Zone blitzing. Like the Dick LeBeau style zone blitzing. It was awful. I hated it. Shout out to the West in high school, though. That defense was intricate. But, like, go look up, Nate, when you get – go look up, like, an all-22 film of what, like, a zone blitzing is and just, like, understand, like, how random. And playing guard, and they ran a 3-3. They didn't run, like, a 3-4 or, like, a 4-3 was a base defense. They ran a 3-3 with a nickel who kind of patrolled like a monster back. It was weird. But anyway, nobody cares about my high school stats. But, yeah, I played left tackle, and I rotated at edge rusher. But
I finished my career with 2 carries for 12 yards and 1 pick in a scrimmage. Yeah.
6 yards a carry. I see you.
Hey, you feel me, man? I almost scored, too, but I hit the wrong hole. So I got... Oh, wait, that doesn't sound right. Anyways, Matt mentioned Corley. Corley's the guy that dropped the ball at the 1 yard line, didn't he? Was he that guy?
Yeah, he ran it in and dropped it. Oh, man, I was watching that. And
Sean Jackson did. I love how that's a thing still.
In his post-game press conference, he just pretty much was like, yeah, he just didn't even care. I was like, great. Perfect.
I don't blame him. He comes in as the Yak King, and the Jets don't even use him until week 14. He's probably like, "What are we doing?"
Oh, that was the old regime's bread and butter, was to draft or sign somebody for something specific, and then, like, example, Mecole Hardman was going to be the kick return or whatever. They just didn't, or they didn't even use him on offense. And then Malachi Corley, they love They just love to do that. They just say, we're going to sign you or we're going to draft you.
Dude, they're going to draft Tyler Warren and make him block every game.
No, not this regime. This is different. New face, new era.
New year, new me type of.
I do love Bob Saleh though. I'm happy he's back DCing. DJ, you brought up a point before. I wanted to bring this up because I feel like you could attest to this. You talk about quarterbacks who don't make jumps. You know who never made a jump from like his freshman year of college till now is Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. He's basically as Ben Simmons. He hit his ceiling and then at like 18 years old and has not changed.
And I was talking to this same Giants fan the other day, and they were like, dude, like, what about the Jags? I'm like, dude, the Jags are awful. Dude, they fired – Doug Peterson's not a bad coach. He's just the sacrificial lamb for the fact that they bumbled that entire, like, regime. They didn't get rid of Trent Baalke to the last minute. Liam Cohen going, Duval.
That was so bad.
That is not the spirit of Jacksonville. You got to say it with your chest and your diaphragm. Like, you got to let that thing fly. You can't whisper Duval.
That was like an innocent Duval.
You got to say it like Kevin Hart. But my favorite thing about the whole Trevor Lawrence thing is it's going to take Jacksonville another 5 years to figure out Trevor Lawrence is a bust. Or he's not a bust. He's just an average quarterback.
They paid for spectacular, and they are going to get average, unfortunately.
But you know what is I got to give a little shout out to Adidas, dude. I bought a total AHD moment. Sorry. I bought my first pair of Adidas in a while. I bought the AE ones. I bought the low top Northern Lights. They're the part of the Metamorphosis spec. Bro, I'm not going to lie. I'm not an Adidas guy by any stretch, except for like the old school ones like T-Mac and KG stuff. But I kind of want to buy another pair for like working out and going and play basketball. And I don't even play basketball that much. Like they're that comfy and they're that like nice. Like they feel it feels like a very athletic foam posit, if that makes sense.
They got really good at making basketball shoes in the last 10 years. They really got on top of
The
basketball.
new Dames are going to be less than $100 next year. The new Damian Lillard shoes, I think it's Dame 10s, are going to be less than $100.
That's good.
They've always been a relatively decently priced for a while too. Even like the 1s, 2s, and 3s were usually reasonable out of the gate.
I think even like when they had Trae Young's, like Trae Young with the Jordan, like listen, Jordan brand has their own thing, but like dude, the Nike had like those Kobe's blow out. But the problem is Nike, I guarantee those are reps too, by the way. No overseas players playing in actual Kobe's, they're playing in reps.
I'm gonna give me another pair of big baller brands.
Starbury's coming back.
Yo, I was hyped, dude. The Starbury ones, the OG Knicks home, were like my favorite pair of kicks I had in middle school because they were light as hell. And I honestly like the TPU plate in the sole was honestly kind of nice. I never had a pair of shoes I liked that much. The OG Starbury ones are my favorite. The twos kind of suck.
Yeah.
Big Bens, I did like those, but I broke them too fast. A Starbury shoe as well. But they were like, they felt weird. They were like a mid top with a cross strap, and they snapped on me. I went to try to cut back, and my playing like pickup hoops, and my ankle went like through it, and it's just no.
If we had a 5-on-5 tournament, we'd be pretty good. Us four, and then Kelcey.
I'm terrible at basketball. No.
Oh.
I can't dribble and run at the same time.
DJ's watched me play football. I'm pretty good for a big fella. Now I've lost a little weight. I feel like I'll be okay.
So we wouldn't succeed.
Making a thunder cracking sound when you hit the ground.
I bounce right back up, man. Bubbles bounce.
Yeah, everybody stopped because it sounded like you got shot. Like I don't know how you hit the ground perfectly to make the loudest sound in my life.
Because the amount of back fat I had made a snapping noise. I'm not sure.
It was grass. It was fake grass, and you still made that noise.
All I know is that turf of that field is so bad. It sucks we're not playing the flag football league again this year because it kind of it sucks that anger management Josh Allen, our quarterback, had to ruin it for us. We pulled this kid in. He basically clotheslined somebody at the end of the game because he got pissed. He threw an interception.
So shouldn't he just blame himself?
Well, we blame him because he's the reason that there's going to be no league next year.
It's just
what about the year after?
There's also a lot fewer teams, a lot fewer people participating. Like the year before, there was like 20 teams. This last year, there was 8. So I think it was just a waning interest on top of it.
Yeah. Like the year before, a lot of teams played because Des Bryant was there. So,
which means they need to bring back Des Bryant,
or even just any player kind of his caliber, dude. Like
anybody with an
Tony Brown.
Anyone
Oh
who's in
my
the space.
goodness.
Go get my boy AB, bro. He just did Rogan. By the way, interesting interview. I was honestly, I was kind of skeptical. This was like, because I listen to Rogan occasionally. Like, I listened to his interview with Bill Murray, which was hilarious. Because Bill Murray is a fellow Martha's Vineyard guy like me. So I've seen him around the island before. He's a nice guy. Buys you a beer if you talk to him. Like, he's well known now. I was like, everyone knows Bill. Bill's like the cool guy on the island. And then I saw the one after was like, oh, Antonio Brown did an interview with Joe Rogan. Let's listen to that. It was interesting. I'm not going to lie. And so, yes, part of the CT ESPN thing is totally a comedy bit. At least that's what he says on the air. Part of it is Vontaze Burfict totally broke his brain a little bit. But it was an interesting interview. He's very self-aware, which was definitely a turn I did not see coming. So I highly recommend listening to it. It was definitely an interesting read. Other than that, Deej, Matt, Nate, anything you guys else want to touch on? I apologize to the folks at home. We did have to kind of call audibles today. Our XFL preview got moved to Monday. So our Monday show is basically be us talking prospects for about 30 minutes, and then we're going straight into – I don't know. We're talking XFL for prospects for 45 minutes, and then we're doing XFL for like 30-ish.
I hope you're not talking about the XFL. That doesn't exist anymore.
Sorry, UFL.
All right.
Are you hopping on the Baseball Super Show next week?
I wasn't invited, so you can give Brent shit.
No, I'm inviting you personally.
Well, I appreciate that. Just run it by the host because apparently I wasn't invited.
Well, I'm the producer, so you want to hop on, I got you.
If you want to add me to the group, great. I would love to. What day is it?
Tuesday, sir.
All right, let me know.
Yes, sir. Matt and DJ, you're welcome as well, if you'd like.
When is this?
To be determined. That's April Fool's Day, so
Super
I might
Show
tell you
on
yes
Tuesday.
and then not show up.
Oh my God! April Fool's Day, guys. The Dodgers are gonna go back to back. April Fools.
No, that's
because Arizona's gonna be a thorn in their butt.
Goddamn right, we're kryptonite, baby. All right,
sir. Yes, sir.
If you guys get anything else, if not, you can find DJ and our boy Kelcey. Hopefully, it feels better. And all things High Low Sports, DJ and our boy Zach Keilman just did their UFL preview last night. Coincidence on time. We both did want to do it the same week. We'll do ours next week because the twin Zach's available. You can find them everything High Low Sports. You can find Nate at 3rd and 10 podcast. Him and Brian just dropped that episode today, right?
Yes, sir. A fun one. We did our tight end rankings and
nice.
Yeah, it's fun stuff.
Nice. I'm sorry. I'm exhausted. I've been doing demos since 8:00 this morning. And of course, you can find me and Matt everything Korner Booth Pod. Him at Korner Booth Matt and Big Wisp. Me at Belly Up Jared and Korner Booth Jared. Yes, it's UNC versus the world. Check on my mental health tomorrow or in the afternoon when we play Ole Miss. If we win, I'm going to be out of control. If we lose, I'm going to be like, baseball season and UFL season. Oh, and Timberwolf season. Shout out to my parents for this dope shirt, by the way.
Go Lakers.
That's it. Shout out to our sponsors. Righteous Film, promo code BELLYUP for 15% off your purchase at checkout. Candidates, promo code BELLYUP 20 for 20% off at checkout. And of course, SeatGeek, the best ticketing app on the planet. Promo code BELLYUP Sports, $20 off your first initial purchase. First only. We'll be back Monday for our UFL preview with our boy Zach Keilman, as well as our edge rusher and interior D-line rankings. It's going to be a fun one. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Korner Booth pregame. I am Captain Jared. These are my crew and, of course, our guest, Mr. DJ Stewart. We will see you guys on Monday. Peace.